Well, good Monday evening, everyone. We're coming to you live inside the GVSU basketball offices. That's right, basketball is back once again as we're opening up the 2025-26 season this weekend for the Grand Valley State men's basketball team. The women have already played a couple of games. We'll get more into that in the second half hour, but in the first half hour, we are talking all things GVSU men's basketball as they wrapped up their exhibition slate, preseason camp. A lot of high expectations as they were picked by the coaches to finish fourth in the GLIAC preseason coaches poll. And joining us once again in now his fourth season is the head man himself, Cornell Mann. Corn, thanks for joining us. How'd your offseason treat you?
I thought offseason was great. Offseason was great. I thought mentally it got me right. I think we had a chance to get, I think some of the players, a lot of the guys had a chance to get themselves right. And I think everybody is excited about coming back and getting after it.
Yeah, you look at last season, obviously bounced in the GLIAC quarterfinals, finished fifth in the GLIAC standings. Through your first three seasons now running this program, what have you learned about yourself as the head coach?
Well, one of the things I think I learned is you have to take some chances as a head coach. No different than a player. I mean, you have to take some chances in terms of you're going to make some mistakes, but you cannot make mistakes if you don't go for it. And I really appreciate that about the opportunity to coach. The other thing I learned is, is a definitely a marathon, and you got to be careful about getting too high too early and getting too low at any time. And for that reason, I'm very appreciative, and I love our guys. We got some of the best human beings on our team in the world, and so again, every day we look forward to getting after it and getting together and learning things A to Z, not just basketball, but and maybe some coaches talk about, I don't know, but these kids go through a lot of real life situations, and we are here for that. We are here to help them through that. And if we don't have the answers, we definitely got the resources here. So we go right into the resources and point them in the right direction whenever they have any problem, whether it's academic, whether something happened in their life, personal, basketball, we got it.
Throughout the season, we're going to dip into the Performance of the Week presented by Trinity Health, the official sports performance provider of GVSU Athletics. But, Corn, in terms of the performance throughout preseason camp, you played 3 exhibition games of note. What did you learn about your team during preseason camp through those exhibition contests?
Well, we had some guys that didn't play, which was okay, because you get a chance to see some other guys get some minutes, some meaningful minutes. I think a couple of things I learned was we have some guys that we can play a big lineup, we can play a small lineup, we can play some guys together that we maybe didn't think we could before. And then we have some guys that we do have to play together in certain situations. And that's been good. Are we deep? We learned that we are deep. What do that mean? That don't always mean you deep every game throughout the game. But I think we have a great number of guys who can help us get wins and who can provide some help at every position. I think we have at least 2 guys at every position, and some even more. And so we learned that we are deep, and in the past we've had injuries that really halted our season. And we had to learn last year without Audie and without Big E. We had to make some adjustments and get acclimated, and we did, but it took some time. And through that process, we took some losses. Well, now I think we've got some of that figured out, meaning we are deep enough that if that does happen, and it could, then I think we got some guys in place who can step right in and be ready to go.
Yeah, we'll get into the team further in depth as the first half hour goes along. You talked about Ethan Aldrink. He's a preseason first-team All-GLIAC, as is Jalen Charity. They're part of that core that you have coming back. You got a good core coming back. In the uncertain times that is college athletics, transfer portal, NIL, you look at the program now in your 4th season. Do you like where this program is at?
I like where the program is at. I like who we have in the program. I like our staff. I like everything about what we got going. I just think this year And so you asked me what did we learn? I mean, we learned that you have to be deep. You have to have guys. And so I'm very excited about that because, again, in the past it was nerve-wracking to lose a guy. I mean, we lost 3 games last year where, like, one game Jalen went out. He was playing his tail off, and in the last 2 minutes he goes out with cramps, and we lose the game. Had we had him, now we got guys who can step in and get things done.
You look at the non-conference slate. It begins this weekend. Friday, you get Ashland in Toledo. That's a neutral site contest. Then Sunday afternoon at UIndy. How the non-conference schedule? You love scheduling tough opponents. Mm-hmm. Where do you think your non-conference schedule stacks up amongst the other teams in the country?
Well, in the past, I thought it was the top non-conference schedule. I still think is maybe not the top, but it's top 3. And our league is the best Division II league it is in the country. And so best thing you can do is get yourself prepared by playing some of the other best teams in the country that's not in our league and in some difficult places to play. And so we look forward to that. I mean, you have to. Our defense should travel. Our toughness should travel. And so we look forward to all of the tough games and the tough places we'll play.
Talking to head men's basketball coach Cornell Mann as we preview the 2025-26 season. I'd like to welcome in our audience on YouTube as well. It's a new feature for us. See every coach's show on the Grand Valley Sports Network live on YouTube as well as the radio side. Our special guest on the men's side coming up in about 5-10 minutes will be Ethan Aldrink. He's the lone graduate player on this year's team. You look at the balance of your team, you got a good mix of youth and experience. Do you agree with that?
I do. We have a good mix of youth and experience that we probably hadn't had in the past, and it should bode well for us. Speaking of the YouTube part, y'all should have let me know so I could have got a haircut. But no, we do is my first year we started 3 freshmen, and so it's a warming feeling to step in those games knowing that you got an Ethan Alderink and a Jalen Charity, and both of our point guards are seniors, and sometimes you just feel good and feel confident because you got guys that's been through the storm.
And your coaching staff. You return DJ Mosini, mm-hmm. Sterling Johnson as well. It's good to have continuity within your assistant coaching staff as well. We do. And those guys get along great, which is awesome. And then Caleb Brown, who was a graduate assistant, is a assistant now. And all of those guys, I think, do a great job assisting, but I think they do a wonderful job of helping our players on and off the court. And sometimes, and then of course we got Big John Moderman, and so we have enough different people and different personalities that our guys can find which one of the coaches fit whatever situation they might be willing to talk about or going through. And so for that, I think that's a great caveat for us. Throughout the first 3 years that we've talked together, you've always stressed you got to have good leadership, and mm-hmm. that's probably a common statement that all coaches make. Do you like this leadership group that you have on this team this year? Yes, I thought last year we had a chance to have good leadership, but I thought our leadership got hurt, and so with those guys not around, I think we took a hit. This year, I think we do have great leadership, and I think because in the past year we didn't, I think they were able to sit at a bird's eye view and see where they could aid in that, and so I think obviously you're about to talk to Audie. I think Audie is a wonderful leader, but we try to get all of our guys to be leaders, and they all will not be top dog leader, alpha leader. I'm not saying that, but if we can get them all to try and be leaders, then it make the leader job easier. Obviously, make my job easier. But I think they all respect each other at a level, and I think there is a hierarchy, meaning they know which guys are at the top in terms of leadership. And so, it's easy for guys like Audie and Jalen and Trevor and Mason to talk to the other guys and get them in position and talk to each other and get them in position, get them going or keep them going or lift them up, whatever it is. You mentioned Ethan Aldrink before I let you go and take a breather and bring him aboard. That young man's just persevered through a lot in terms of injuries. It's good to see him healthy. How important is he to your team this year? Oh, very. Yeah, he was very important to the team last year and a year before. The thing that Audie brings is he's a grown man, and he has a grown man's approach.
He's a very disciplined human being. He got a lot of things that he do at a high level as an individual before you even get to the court. Because just about everything he does at a high level. And so when you talk about academics, high level. When you talk about defense, high level. When you talk about playing hard, high level. Offensively, work on his game, all that high level. IQ off the charts. And so everything he does, if he's going to do anything, what's the old adage or cliche? The way you do anything is the way you do everything.
Yeah.
I bet he make his bed up like a king. So he's just a high level individual in every way.
He's definitely a quality young man, and we'll bring him aboard here after this short timeout. When we come back, graduate student Ethan Aldrink will join us here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider as we're live inside the GVSU basketball offices here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Brian Fongers back live inside the GVSU basketball offices here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Also like to welcome in our viewers on YouTube. First show of the 2025-26 season for the basketball program, men's and women's. As we are talking right now in the first half hour, all things men's basketball, previewing what's to come. They open the season this weekend. Couple of, I guess you could say, road contests, even though Friday's game is a neutral site affair against Ashland. Sunday, they're in Indy, Indianapolis, to be specific, to take on the Greyhounds. And now it's time for Grind Time with Big B Coffee. It's time to be. Our special guest here is graduate student from Holland, Michigan. I was talking to him off air. It's glad to see him healthy, participating regularly and just ready to go. Ethan Aldring joins us. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. It's good to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you're looking forward to it. This is your last year. And like I was talking to Corn, you were in the room. You have persevered through so many injuries. During your time here battling those injuries, I know it's tough not being out on the floor with the guys competing, trying to be a leader out there. What did you learn the most about yourself during that time, just kind of rehabbing from all those injuries?
Yeah, it's tough, and it's unfortunate when it happens, and you just got to understand that injuries do happen, But the way I tried to look at it is there's so much worse things out there in the world, and for me to just go through an injury here and there, that's something easy I can deal with. Just got to be a man about it, be dedicated to the rehab, and just trust that it's going to get better.
During that time off when you're not playing, do you see yourself as a better leader when it comes to trying to help your teammates even though you're not being on the floor?
Yeah, I think it gives a fresh perspective. When you're in it, playing every day, you're in the thick of it, you can kind of get lost in it a little bit. But when you get to take a step back, take a kind of a wider view of things, kind of helps you refresh the mind, look at it from a different perspective, and just figure out new ways to lead your teammates.
And during the off season, I know there was, some uncertainty for you whether or not with your injury, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but whether or not you could play this upcoming season. Was that kind of maybe a little bit of a scary situation for you, wondering whether or not you're going to be able to play?
Yeah, it definitely was, and it was something I had to deal with every day, checking in with the doctor every couple weeks, seeing how we're feeling about it. Some weeks go really good. Other weeks, it's just like, not sure if I'm going to be able to play basketball ever again, not sure what I'm going to be able to do from an athletic standpoint for the rest of my life, but, just having faith in God, trusting my teammates, coach, my family, the doctors, and just being dedicated to getting a little bit better every single day. And here we are now, getting ready for a good year.
Yeah, we're chatting with Ethan Aldring here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider. It also makes you appreciate the game more, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, it does.
Well, this year's team, you've played, by my count, 3 exhibition games, preseason camp. That's always a grueling part of the season because you're trying to get into game shape. What do you like about this year's team?
I think we just have a great group of guys, from the way they treat each other, the way they work. We got some guys that really just go to work every single day, and it doesn't matter the type of day they're having. It doesn't matter if they're having a great day, bad day, they're here to work, and that's something I appreciate a lot, and it just makes it so much fun to go in every single day knowing I got 15, 16 guys with me that are ready to go to war with each other.
Now, this is technically, what would this be, your 5th year at Grand Valley State, is that correct, or is it 6? It's your 6th year, so, I mean, you've seen it all, you've been through a lot with this program, and this program is on the cusp of getting over that hump. What's it going to take? Because, the first 3 years under Corn, you guys have finished 4th and 5th. You're right there. A couple years ago, you're 20 minutes away from going to the NCAA tournament in the GLIAC championship game. I guess, what's that missing ingredient that it's going to take to get over that hump?
I mean, I think that just shows, the small line there is between winning and losing in every single day, especially in our league. I mean, I think for like 4 straight years when I was here, like the 8 seed beat the 1 seed in the GLIAC tournament. So, I mean, there's never going to be an off game in this league. And so I think it's just every day going in and just getting a little bit better, playing a little bit harder, just finding that little edge that's going to put us over the top. For you personally, what are you looking to gain out of this season specifically for you? I'm just looking to go out, play as hard as I can every single night. Whether shots fall or they don't, I'm just going to go out there and give it everything I have.
Now, I assume that you see yourself as one of the leaders. Who are some of the other guys? I know you got a good core of seniors and also some other underclassmen that you probably feel are good leaders as well. Who are some other players specifically that you see that are great vocal leaders on this team?
I'd say Jalen Charity is another one of the vocal leaders on our team. Him and I are 2 of the guys that you'll hear the most during practice or off the court. We're the ones checking in with everybody, making sure everybody's accountable. But then I'd also like to highlight, some of the guys that might not be as vocal that are very impressive, like Shamus and Cam. Those guys, just through their effort every single day in practice, they're 2 guys that are very highly respected and lead in a different way.
I know you guys have goals to win the GLIAC, obviously, get into the NCAA tournament, and who knows after that. what's the biggest thing it's going to take this year specifically for you guys to achieve your goals, compete for a GLIAC championship, and hopefully get into the big dance?
I'd say just come in every single day as prepared as we possibly can, you know. Teams are going to be ready for us, but we got to show that we're ready for them, willing to play harder and just execute at a higher level.
Like I said, Ethan, it's great to see you healthy and back on the playing floor. I'll be there on Friday for the season opener against Ashland and Toledo. Best of luck this season. We'll definitely be chatting along the way here.
Sounds good. It's great to be back.
Absolutely. That is graduate student forward Ethan Aldrink joining us here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider. For Grind Time with Big B Coffee, it's time to be. Another timeout. We'll bring back head coach Cornell Mann, and we'll break down this year's roster. You're tuning into the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider live from the GVSU basketball offices here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. The GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider is presented in part by Flow Sports, where you can catch the Lakers all season long. As we're back live inside the GVSU Basketball offices in Allendale, Brian Fongers here. Head men's coach Cornell Mann rejoins us as we wrap up the first half hour of our first show of the 2025-26 season. Corn, let's get right into it. Your roster, it's a 17-player roster. You got a good senior core. We talked about Ethan Aldrink, who was the special guest if you missed it. Let's get into the other core group of seniors. Let's start off with a player like Jalen Charity and go from there.
Well, Jalen is a hard hat guy. He's a construction worker. He plays really hard. He's a tough kid. He comes to practice every day battling. He's a competitive young man. And we, obviously last year he was second team all conference. He earned that. First team all defense, second team all conference. You can really speak to his growth when you talk about his ability to shoot the ball. Early in his career, I think he shot under 20% from three. Last year he shot over 40 or right at 40% from three, which just speaks to how much work he put in and how much focus he has in that area. And then, Mason Docks, point guard. Mason is playing at a pretty high level right now. And he's doing a great job. This is the most, I told him yesterday, is the most I've ever heard him talk. He's doing a great job talking and leading on the floor. And, even when you cannot hear him, you can see him pulling guys to the side and saying something. I don't even ask what he's saying. I trust what he's saying. But he's doing a great job. He's doing a great job defensively, doing a great job leading. He does a great job, especially in the clock, finding. Not we want to get the shot up before in the clock, but if he has it, I'm very comfortable in the clock with him. And so really excited about the things that he could do for us this year.
You also have Trevor Smith, another one of your senior point guards, and then we'll get into the bigs down low. A couple notable players, Shamus Thompson and Cam Aldrich. I always love watching Shamus. He's all over the floor.
Oh, yeah, Shamus is he's similar to Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a poor man's Dennis Rodman. He can score better than Dennis, though. But he plays extremely hard. I mean, he plays extremely hard. He does not care about his body when he's playing basketball. He throws his body all over the place. He's as competitive as you will get. You know, if you're sitting at dinner and somebody just roll a ball across the table, is he going to dive and tear up the table getting it? He's a wonderful young man who is focused on getting to the glass and doing anything and everything he can do for himself, but more importantly for his teammates. You mentioned Trevor. Trevor is playing at a high level as well. This will be Trevor's fourth year. He'll be the first player to ever be on all defensive team in the GLIAC history. And so he obviously will have a goal to play defense at that high level and continue that. And then, you got Shamus. Then you have 3 transfers.
Yep.
We can start with Peyton Weimer. Peyton is a guy who his dad is a player. His dad was a coach, and so he really knows how to play. I think he's making his move and making his mark every time he get in the game. I trust him out there more and more. The more we play these exhibitions, the more I trust him. I think he's a great player that can do a lot of good things in his role. And then David Wilkerson coming from Youngstown. He's from Lansing, but coming from Youngstown. David is finding his way, and when he absolutely finds his way, he's going to be a tear. He's competitive. He plays hard. He's trying to fit what we do. He's trying to figure out everything we do, and he's still making adjustments in terms of having the type of habits we build here versus wherever he's come from. But he's done a great job since he's been here. And again, he's maybe not as vocal, but in his own way, a good leader. And then you have Anton. Anton is playing hard. I love the kid. I love all the guys, but Anton is playing hard. He's one of the best kids ever you would want to coach because he understands that there's more to give, and he has the ability to absorb the information and the coaching, and then try and put it in play. He's similar to Wilkerson, where he's finding his way in terms of the way we do things, and as soon as he's where he's supposed to be, and he's playing hard enough to get there, but as soon as he's where he's supposed to be, especially on the defensive end, when he's supposed to be there, he's going to be a tear defensively, but offensively he can really score the ball.
Couple of players to keep an eye on for the GVSU men's team. Real quick, Corn, you open up the season this weekend. We mentioned in Toledo at Owens Community College against the Eagles of Ashland on Friday. That's a 6 o'clock tip. We'll have that game for you beginning at 5:45 of the pregame coverage here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Then you get a day off. You're in Indianapolis on Sunday to take on the Greyhounds at Nicholson Hall. That was a double overtime thriller last season at UIndy. Real quick, Corn, what are you looking out of your team this weekend to begin the season?
Well, just looking for them to continue to improve in terms of competition. We have to compete to be a great team, and that's what we do. And one of the guys that has to get to a level, because I don't want to leave him out, that has to get his competitive level. He got it up last year, and he'll get it up to another level this year, is Cam McNair's. Cam has to be really good for us, and he will, but you got to stay on Cam to fight. And he enjoys it, and he really enjoyed the coaching. He really enjoyed the coaching and the coaches being on him. But I think what we got to do this weekend is compete, play as hard as we can, share the ball, one more passes all over the place, and just stay connected. So during timeouts, during free throw situations, these guys really like each other. They're pretty close. And so just getting together and making sure every time somebody come in the game, communicate, same page, that whole thing. I think we got a chance to be good early. I think we got a chance to be great throughout the year.
Again, we'll have that game for you on Friday in Toledo against Ashland, 6 o'clock tip, 5:45 of the pregame coverage. You can follow along at gvsulakers.com on Sunday for the 3 o'clock tip at Indianapolis against the Greyhounds. He is head men's basketball coach Cornell Mann. Corn, thanks as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Anchor up.
That is head men's coach Cornell Mann joining us after this timeout. We are talking all things GVSU women's basketball, the defending national champs. And the national championship head coach Mike Williams will take the seat next to me, and we'll recap that exciting run to the championship and also set our sights on what's to come for this year's team. They're off to a 2-0 start already. They played a couple weekends ago. Coach Mike will join us next here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Presented in part by Earhart Construction, right from the start. We're back live inside the GVSU basketball offices, second half hour. It's always the fastest hour in all of radio. My name is Brian Fongers. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in on the radio side or on YouTube. First ever coaches show on the basketball side, broadcasted on YouTube. We talked all things GVSU men's basketball with head coach Cornell Mann and special guest Ethan Aldrink. Now we're talking all things GVSU women's basketball, the defending national champions. Head coach Mike Williams joins us. Coach Mike, thanks for joining us, and looking forward to another season of women's basketball. You guys are already off to a 2-0 start.
Yeah, we had a chance to go play on the road down in St. Joe's, just outside Kansas City. A great tournament. They had 6 really good teams. Every team played 2 games, kind of intermingled. We played Missouri Western, who was kind of the host school at the tournament, and then played West Texas A&M that had played 3 high-powered exhibition games to get them ready. So it was really a good test for us. 2 different styles of play. One that pressed kind of like us up and down the floor. The other one's a little more patient. Real good inside game. Veteran guard. So it was a great opening weekend test.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a West Texas A&M team that beat Arizona in the exhibition slate, and you guys took care of business in both games. It was 83-61 on Halloween against Missouri Western out of the MIAA. Then you followed it up the next day. West Texas A&M, the Lady Buffs, out of the Lone Star Conference. You beat them by 14. Before we get into this year's group and talk more about those games, let's rewind to last season. What a special run. Second national championship in program history, 38-2, Coach Mike. You had some extended time after that exciting run to the championship to think about and just gain some perspective on that run. How fun was that for you?
Well, it was obviously you win it all your last game. You know, you win your last game. It hasn't happened to me in my career. So it's pretty cool. Had a couple runner-ups and things like that in Final Fours. But, I think it was something that we had kind of knew at the beginning of the year. We had a good chance. We were going to be in the mix with a lot of everybody returned. We had a good year the previous year. We were all healthy. In a good spot, and I think we went to Italy, which I think set the stage for a lot of different things. Practiced 10 days in the summer, real good, like this weekend or last weekend, a real good tip-off tournament out in Montana. Just a lot of things kind of fell in place, and then obviously you get that run and you win it all, and it's kind of like, wow, this is crazy. And you celebrate it. We celebrated, I thought, really well. It's with you. You go out recruiting, and you're the national champs, and people remind you of that all the time, which is very nice for people to do. But once we got ready for this season, it was like, okay, boom. And these guys were a big part of it. Obviously, these returnees that we have were a major part in what we did last year. But still, they know, we know. Okay, now, boom, this starts this year.
As we put a bow on last season, we've talked so much about that senior core, the legacy they left. You described it as consistency. 37 of those 38 victories, Coach Mike, by double digits. Do you still have that same description of consistency that you would describe that senior group that left that impact?
I think this group is the same. Yes, I mean it's the same. They're consistent. They're locked in. They've been great leaders so far this year, doing a real good job. Talented group. I don't know if we have the backup that they did last year. These guys were our backups last year, and they were fourth-year players. They were fourth-year juniors. A lot of them were red shirts, other than Avery Zeenstra. So I think the experience that we had last year was made us consistent, and that's going to be what we're working towards now. We've got a talented upper class group, and now we've got a talented underclass, and but they don't have the same. They haven't been through the grind. They don't have the same experience, and that's going to take some time. But I think it's something that we can get to as the year goes on.
If I'm not mistaken, Coach Mike, again, we're chatting with head women's coach Mike Williams here in the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider. This is your 11th season, if I'm not mistaken, with this program, and what a run you guys have been on in the last 4 seasons. 4 straight GLIAC regular season championships, 3 straight postseason conference championships. Sprinkle in a couple of regional championships, a national championship. Did you expect, especially after COVID, the kind of run you would go on with this program over the last handful of years?
Not really. No. It's one of those things where you take you get a chance to inherit this program, which was in really good shape when I got here. A lot of things were in place, and then we had some good years. We had, they had good recruiting classes coming in. When I got the job, left in great shape, great culture, a lot of talented players. And like you said, then those players graduate, and then all of a sudden we got our players in, the new staff's players in, and we knew we had good players coming in. We did, but when you haven't been up there, and obviously you always want to. Our main goal was, hey, can we win GLIAC championships? Can we get to the NCAA tournament and maybe have a chance to compete for national championships? And so, but to see that the success they've had the last 4 years here is that these kids have had has been pretty amazing. We talk about all the time, yes, the national championship, but getting to the NCAA tournament 10 straight years, and then being able to win 30 games for 4 years straight. And we play good teams, and our conference is really good. And it's a battle. It's a dogfight every year, and then to do that is like, but again, you have veterans, you have players that buy into doing the unseen, and you get consistency, and that's what happens.
Well, you guys are picked to finish first in the GLIAC preseason coaches poll. I know you guys don't take a lot of stock in that, but you guys are the favorites once again. But for the first 2 games that you guys have played against Missouri Western and West Texas A&M, as we dive into this year's group a little bit before we take a break and bring in our special guest, Nicole Kameen, what did you learn about your team in those first 2 games over in Missouri?
Well, I thought, we think we've got some talent. I think that proved through because we weren't, a lot of that's on us as coaches, myself, that we weren't in the spot we wanted to be yet this early in the season because of our youth and our experience. But so it shows we had some talent to get by and play 2 really good teams. I think West Texas was really good. They probably took us a little lightly. After you play SMU, beat Arizona, play Baylor. It's probably like, oh, now we're going to play Grand Valley. But, we were in a tough spot because we'd played the day before. They watched us play. Then we had to play them the next day. They had not played, so they were fresh. And so I was really proud of our players, especially our leaders. They logged a lot of minutes, and they showed a lot of resilience. And I thought it was really good. We got up in the game in the first half, and maybe by 13 or 14, they cut it down to 5. We called a timeout with, I think, 7:23 to go, somewhere along there. And our players responded, and they finished the game. And so I was really proud of the resilience they showed on that weekend.
One of your senior leaders, as I mentioned, Nicole Kameen, she was voted by the GLIAC coaches the preseason player of the year. Just discuss briefly her impact that she's made on this program.
Well, she's, I think, maybe the first player since I've been that started as a freshman. So that's pretty cool. And not that we really don't place a lot on starting and all that, but she was in that top mix as a freshman, as were a lot of other players. But, she's just an all-around player. She can score but doesn't have to, doesn't need to, sometimes doesn't want to. We got to push her buttons a little bit to take some shots, but tremendous defender, can get to the rim left and right, more left than right, but shoots it from deep and a great rebounder. And I think she's really prospered in the style we're playing now because she can really go up and down the floor. Great passer, handler, and really effective in our press. Just a great anticipator. So, like our other 4 seniors around her, she's had one heck of a career, and we hope I'm sure she wants to put a stamp on it her senior year here.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Coach Mike, we'll take a break, and we'll bring our special guest on. Nicole Kameen will join us here after this brief timeout as you're tuning in live from the GVSU basketball offices to the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider, right here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Our women's basketball guest is presented by University of Michigan Health West, the official sports medicine provider of GVSU Athletics. Brian Fongers with you back inside the GVSU basketball offices. Our first show of the season as we're chatting all things GVSU women's basketball. Now we can proudly say they are the defending national champions. And our special guest joins us here. She is a redshirt senior. Proud, I guess you could say, she's a proud alum of Escanaba, Michigan, up in the UP. She is Nicole Kameen. Nicole, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Escanaba, Michigan, we've talked about your hometown and where it's located and what it's all about. But, you know, just being from the UP, having your family, I know your parents come down quite a bit to see you play a lot. Escanaba, that's a real tight-knit community. And, you know, I'm sure throughout your Laker career, this is now, what, your fifth year with the program?
Yep.
Okay. So just seeing your parents come down, being tight-knit like that, having a close family like that, that's got to help you out when it comes to, you know, now that you're a redshirt senior, being a leader, providing that closeness with your teammates, if you understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I think it definitely helps coming from a smaller town and feeling that support. Being so far away from home, I think just having all those people supporting me around me, and I think I can bring that here and kind of feel that sense here too.
Now you're a redshirt senior, one of those leaders. Where have you seen yourself grow, I guess, vocally as a leader over the years? Have you seen the vocal side of you come out more and more with each passing year?
Yeah, I feel like definitely. I think it just more confidence now. I'm definitely a lot more confident to tell my teammates to do more things, especially in practice. I've been here for 5 years, so I've been through it and I can understand that. And definitely just being that vocal leader for them, and then also just being there for them, because this is a hard transition, especially for our freshmen coming from high school to college and learning all the new ins and outs. So definitely just being there for them overall.
Well, last year, what a special run to the national championship. Is there one special memory that sticks out in your mind? I'm sure it was the final moments of the final game, right?
Yeah, I honestly think it was the final seconds, like ticking down. I think I just remember seeing everyone and just feeling that sense of relief that we finally did it. I mean, we've been working so hard for this. And then just being with my best friends afterwards was, yeah.
That Pitt State game, you really had a great ending to that game. You really want, I guess you could say, a nice little heater in that Pitt State game. Coach Phil was dialing up plays for you. You were attacking the rim, just, you know, drawing contact, getting to the bucket. Was that a game that really sticks out in your mind when it comes to that postseason run to the national championship? Yeah,
I think for that game especially, I think it helped that I was trying to guard one of their best players on the other team, and I think that honestly sparked my offense a little bit, just being able to do that. And then, yeah, having the plays ran up for me, I think I felt a little bit faster that game too, and it was working, and my teammates were there supporting me every step of the way.
We're talking to Nicole Kameen here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider, and they always talk about when you reach the pinnacle, you win the ultimate prize, the national championship, maybe complacency sets in the following year, but I'm sure you and the rest of the seniors probably, as a message to some of the newcomers or the returning players, probably that message is, hey, we're still hungry, we want more.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's even more urgent this year, because last year we had the same team as the year before, and we kind of knew what the goal was. And I think this year especially we're trying to place that in maybe the younger people's minds a little bit more, because they haven't been there, and just giving that experience and then just like teaching them it's a lot of work. It doesn't just get handed to you.
I know you're one of the best defenders, not just in the GLIAC, but in the country, you know, with your wingspan. I know you can get to any ball that's put in your vicinity. You are the GLIAC preseason player of the year offensively. As a freshman, I do remember you were one of the best shooters, if not the best shooter in the GLIAC from the perimeter. Is that a specific part of your game that you continue to work hard on?
Yeah, I think my freshman year that was a little bit more of luck than anything. But I think that's something I really want to focus in on this year, is being a perimeter shooter and just helping my game there, because then it'll open up more driving lanes and make that more available.
I'm going to stereotype a little bit, because up in the UP where you're from in Escanaba, anywhere in the UP, I'm sure you pride yourselves on toughness. It's kind of a tough brand of basketball, and this has been kind of a perfect fit for you coming into Coach Mike's system. He likes being physical, preaches the toughness. It's just kind of a perfect marriage for you, isn't it?
Right, yeah. I think even going back to high school, we were pretty decent at softball, so I had the experience from coaches back up there that was very get after you, and that's what I love, and that's what Coach Mike is exactly, and he tells you how it is, and just because he wants the best out of you, so yeah.
And you're recently engaged over the summer, over the off season, so congratulations. Do you want to describe how the proposal went?
Sure. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, we were out on the beach in the summer, and then we went to dinner, and I had some other teammates with me as well, and he proposed there, and yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm sure it's exciting. Do you have a date picked out at all?
Yes, this coming summer.
Okay, well, that's
Yes.
that's definitely exciting. I know there were a couple other players on the team,
Yes.
too, that recently got engaged, and hopefully we'll talk with them as the season goes along. Before I let you go, Nicole, in terms of, we talked briefly about goals. You want to get back to where you were last year. What's it going to take to continue that consistency that this program has had under Coach Mike?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to it. I think just coming in every single day, eager and urgent, and just ready to learn more so than anything, and be coachable. Definitely have an open mindset to everything and all the new ways, and yeah, just push each other every single day.
Well, Nicole, it was a pleasure having you. Best of luck here. You guys are going on the road for a couple of games to Ohio. You take on Walsh and Ohio Dominican. Best of luck, and I'll be with you guys here in a couple of weeks when you go to Findlay, Ohio, so looking forward to it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's Nicole Kameen joining us here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider. We'll take another break. Coach Mike will come back with us, and we'll talk about this year's team and also briefly touch on their road trip to Ohio this weekend. As you're tuning in live to the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. The GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider is presented in part by GVSU Tickets, where you secure your seat to all the upcoming games. Brian Fongers back live one final time. Hard to believe. It's the last segment of the first show of the season. Again, this hour goes by very quickly. We're live inside the GVSU basketball offices, finishing up our first installment of GVSU women's basketball conversation. Head women's coach Mike Williams joins us once again. Our thanks to Nicole Kameen for joining us in the previous segment. And Coach Mike, let's get into it. This year's team, you got a good core of returning players led by Nicole Kameen, along with the likes of Paige Van Stee, Avery Zeenstra, Molly Anderson, Lexi Plitzawhite. So let's start with that core of players, your seniors, your leaders. What are you expecting out of them this year?
Yeah, I think they obviously know what needs to be done. You know, they've been through this before for many years. They were red shirts a lot of these players were the year we got to the Final Four last year, major part of it, our tournament title run. So they know what's going on. They know what needs to be done, and I think they're doing a great job leading these younger players in the right way. They've been practicing, putting in time. Like I said last weekend, they're resilient in that, and they responded to some of the runs made on Saturday by West Texas A&M. So I think they want it. They know they're not trying to win national championship. That's what I mean. Obviously, that's what everybody tries to do, but that's not the expectation. The expectation is to be your best every day, see how well we can do, and I think they're doing a great job with that.
So that's the core of seniors there, those 5 seniors, 4 of them being red shirts. And then you got a little bit of a drop-off. According to the roster, you don't have any juniors per se on this year's roster. Then you get 5 sophomores, 9 freshmen, 4 of them being red shirts. And I guess that underclassmen group is led by Riley Bisball's younger sister, Mackenzie Bisball. You're expecting another big leap from her this year, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think she's now knows what she's doing, and so now we talk a little bit about her urgency or what's next, that she's still working on that, but she's really worked hard on the defensive end of the floor, which last year obviously she had only been 1 year and was thrown right in the fire, so she did a great job with that. And we got Ava Scallon's back now. She played that first year a little bit, 7-8 minutes a game, and now she's up in the that top group playing. She's going to be playing 20 to 25 minutes a game, so it gives us a nice presence inside. She's kind of taken Riley's spot per se in the rotation, and Kenzie's kind of in her same spot. So with those two back with experience, I think that gives us a good nucleus with our inside post players.
Coach Mike, we'll talk about the highly touted recruiting class on next week's show due to the limited time here, but you got some freshmen that have gotten some good playing minutes in the first 2 games. But let's quickly preview this weekend because you got a couple more road games coming up this weekend. You've got Walsh and Ohio Dominican. You hosted them last year, took care of business handily both times. Those are 2 programs looking to rebuild, get back to what they once were. Just a quick preview of those 2 games to come this weekend.
Yeah, again, I think they're similar styles of play. They both like to spread you out offensively, not really post-dominant. They'll take threes. They're playing Walsh is playing Kent State tonight, an exhibition game for them, real game for Kent State. And, again, I think they were shooting about 52% from the arc through about 3 quarters. Was a 2-point game, 4-point game most of the way. So they know how to score. I think they're trying to apply some pressure this year in the full court, whether it's some man-to-man, maybe some run and jump stuff. But, a real solid program. And Ohio Dominican, I think, Coach has done a great job there. She got the first year was last year, and I thought throughout the year they made great improvement. And I think she, I think playing good teams like she wants to do has really helped them, and it's going to help their program grow.
That's Saturday and Sunday. Saturday at Walsh, that's a 7 o'clock tip. Sunday, it's a 3 o'clock tip at Ohio Dominican. GVSULakers.com is your resource to follow everything going on with the Laker women this weekend. Our first radio broadcast, will be coming up with your road game at Findlay, Ohio, coming up here in about a week and a half. Coach Mike, just some final thoughts. What is the early strength that you're looking at this team and you're saying, this team could be pretty good in this aspect? What's sticking out to you?
Well, we talked about, can we win the rebounding battle this year? I thought 2 years ago we won it, led the country in rebound margin. Last year we slipped a little bit. That's been a focus up for us this year. I think we're a little bit longer than last year, maybe more athletic from that end. So can we will our press be as effective, maybe more effective? Can we get quicker baskets in transition? Can we get out and run more? Maybe get quicker shots on the offensive end and expose that or utilize our depth.
Coach Mike, we appreciate it. We'll chat again next week.
All right, thanks much.
That's head women's coach Mike Williams joining us. My thanks to everybody for joining us on the first show. I'm Brian Fongers saying thanks for tuning in. You've been tuning in live to the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. We'll talk to you next week. Anchor up and go Lakers.